Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's growth call. My name is Steve Jane. Hello to everybody else on the call. I want to apologize for. One second. My YouTube was playing in the background. Okay. Yeah, I just want to apologize for last week. I was on a daylight savings time and I held the call an hour earlier. Nobody was here, and I was wondering why, but that was why. And today we're on a better time. So apologies from my side. Yeah, if you're new to Bisq, Bisq is what we like to think of as the only true decentralized Bitcoin exchange where you can trade Bitcoin for other cryptocurrencies like Monero or other fiat currencies like the US dollar or the euro without giving up your privacy or security, and trading with software that is designed to be as resistant to censorship, as resilient as possible. For this call, I've put the link to the Hangout in the YouTube chat, so you can feel free to join us here if you'd like, or feel free to put your questions and comments in the YouTube chat, and we'll respond to those as we can. The agenda is, I think, pretty straightforward. We're going to do a market overview, like always, and talk about DAO testing, as the new voting cycle just started today. And the DAO itself is very close to launching. And then maybe if we have time and if other people join the call, maybe talk about bootstrapping fiat markets in Mexico and Brazil, if it makes sense to talk about that. So I guess jumping right into the market overview, it's kind of the same story as last week. It's not particularly strong so far this month. We probably going to hit something around 1.5 million in US dollar trade volume, which will be a little bit short of last month. Monero kind of was kind of weak, which I think was the main hit to volume. There was a hard fork earlier that kind of changed things a bit for that market, but on the bright side, we're going to hit 25,000 trades for the whole for Bisq today. We hit 25,000 trades total, so that's a nice milestone, nice bright spot. Anything else anybody want to mention for volume so far?
No, not in particular. So you mentioned already, as Monero is our biggest market, we felt the hard fork. I think it's just roughly every 6 months where they change some parameters to be more ASIC resistant. And this time it took longer for the first blocks, and over the first couple of days it wasn't so stable. So yeah, so I guess maybe we see that it's slowly picking up, but still it's very on a lower level than it was before. So maybe we see something different next month, but yeah, that's the main reason why this month was a little bit lower. On the other markets, it's slowly organically increasing, so that's really good. And we have some markets you mentioned already, which are picking up now, or are existing now on Bisq for a couple of months. So Brazil is, I think it's now the second or third month where we have nearly every day a couple of trades, so that's a good sign. Besides that, a couple of new altcoins that were introduced. DOI, DOI, is having a nice number of trades over the last couple of 10 days. But yeah, besides that, it's the same. It's Monero, Bitcoin, Euro, US dollar, Great Britain, British pound, and now Brazil as well on the rankings. Manfred, you wanted to add something?
Just a comment regarding the instant altcoin trading. For those who have not heard about this new feature, we introduced in the last release. And it's basically the same like normal altcoin trade, just that it's limited to 1 hour. So you have to complete the trade in 1 hour, the buyer and the seller. So both have to be online on their computer and react quickly and do the transaction quickly. And with that, we want to make it easier, more attractive for market makers who are very sensitive to volatility. So when their Bitcoin get locked in for a full day or longer, when it's having a dispute, so it's not very nice for them. And with instant trading, should be limited to 1 hour, and should help that to make Bisq more attractive for such type of traders. For the make it maybe a little bit, for the take it's usually easy, because when he's taking the offer, he's online anyway, and he's just waiting whatever 10 minutes or so until the trade gets completed. For the maker, it's a little bit more work, and maybe we need to add something in the UI to make it a little bit easier for them. For instance, to automatically disable the offer when he's not active on the computer, that we have some detection when you do something on your machine, or so that it gets detected, and when the application recognizes that there have not been any activity for a while, that the offer get deactivated or something like this. As a maker, you have to take care when you're not available for the next hour, just deactivate the offer in the My Offers view in Portfolio, where you see all your offers, open offers. There you can edit your offers, you can change the price, and you can deactivate it. It has not any fees, so you can do this without any extra costs. And by deactivating, they just get removed from the offer book. When you activate them again, they get republished to the offer book again.
Yeah, and also maybe we should mention, so you can create for the same altcoin 2 accounts. So one for instant trading, one for regular trading. So you're not locked down to decide just to go one way. So you can just create both and try out whatever trades are available.
Yeah, actually you cannot mix it. You cannot take a normal altcoin offer, which is not dedicated for instant trading, with instant trading account, and the other way around. When this instant trading, when we see that it really picks up and it gets used more, we will consider to add it also for fiat payment accounts, which are instant, like Revolut and some others, which have instant settlement. But there it's a little bit more effort on the development side, and want to wait first to see if it's a requested feature or not.
Cool. Awesome. All right, so moving on, DAO testing. So the DAO, very close to the mainnet launch. We are going to be launching an update to the software next week. And I think the goal is for that to be the last release before the mainnet DAO launch. So it's coming up very soon, and DAO testing is critical right now, especially for users. So we've had a number of users, lots of users help us test over the past couple of weeks. And I've sent messages to you guys. Most of you, I think, I tried to get most of you to submit feedback, to tell us about your experience. There are no analytics built into the app, so it's virtually impossible for us to know your experience. And since until now, it's been mostly contributors who have been testing, who kind of know a little bit about the Bisq DAO and are familiar with the quirks of the software. Having feedback from users is very, very important. You have fresh eyes. You're probably seeing things that we don't see. So having your feedback is very important. We have a form that I sent to most of you, but if you didn't get it for some reason, I'm going to put it in the chat right now. It's a very quick 4-question form, and it'll help us dramatically to uncover blind spots and make any fixes that need to be made for the mainnet launch.
Did we post it on? Sorry, Steve. Did we post it on Twitter already? The link to the survey.
Not on Twitter. I didn't know if I put it on Slack. I guess I could put it on Twitter too.
Maybe we just mentioned, yeah, of course, they need to use the Bisq client and try out the DAO to give feedback. But yeah, maybe we get some more quick response from people.
Sure. I've kind of shied away from talking about the Bisq DAO too much on Twitter, but I guess now that we're looking for more wide feedback, it's a good idea. So I'll do that. And yeah, last thing to mention, I guess, is the reward. If you do the survey, then we're offering a reward of 20 BSQ, which you can make a compensation request for this month. And it's pretty special because this is probably going to be the last month for requesting compensation before the DAO goes live. So by requesting compensation this month, you'll be able to become a part of the mainnet BSQ Genesis distribution, which it's kind of cool. You can kind of brag to your friends about it, or tell your kids about it. It's it's a one-time thing. It's not going to happen again. So it's kind of a cool thing. So that's all I have for DAO testing. Of course, there's a new voting cycle started today, just a couple of hours ago. So if you're watching and you already tested, please go ahead and make some new proposals. If you have not tested it yet, feel free to start Bisq in the DAO testnet mode and ask for BSQ and BTC so that you can do testing yourself. I'll put the link to how to do that in the description so that you can see how it's done. But yeah, your feedback, very important at this stage, particularly. Anything to add? I see Huey just joined. Hi.
Hi, do you hear me?
Hi. We're really glad to have you. I think you've been helping us with testing over the past several weeks, so really thank you for that. Really big help.
Yes, I've been trying, but I made an error last test, and I voted, but I forgot to submit the vote, so it ended up not counting. Do you have a link for the request that you were talking about?
Yeah, so the link to the forum, I think I might have sent it to you earlier today, but it's also in the YouTube chat. I can actually put it here since you're here in the Hangout as well.
Okay,
wait, that's not, hold on. Yeah, here you go. This is the form. There's two links there. It's the bottom one. And that's the link to the form for feedback. As for the voting, I think it's a UI issue that we're aware of, and I think there's a fix for that. I think in coming up.
Yeah, I tried. Sorry, I tried to change it a little bit so that if you click on each proposal, you get a pop-up. So at the moment we just included it into one page, so it's a lot of scrolling. You have to go up and down during the voting process. And one of the most important part, it's quite hidden below. That's the place. So if you voted, that's the first big thing. But after you created all your votes, you have to set the stake. So how much do you want to log up for? How much weight do you want to give your votes? And then you have to publish them. And if you just vote and don't publish, then it's not counted. I guess that's what happened to Huey. So that will change, and yeah, let's see if that improves the user experience.
Cool. Yeah, I think for me that was probably, at least the first time, probably the most confusing part of the process. So that's great. Cool. I guess Manuel just joined. Hi, Manuel.
Hi, Manuel. Great that you could join as well. Is your headset working, Manuel? We don't hear you.
Oh.
It doesn't have a mic there.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I guess, I mean, that's pretty much all I had. I don't know if it's worth talking about the bootstrapping fiat markets at this point. Without Felix, basically the idea was that there's an uptake in organic interest from Mexico and Brazil due to recent events, and I was just curious about ways to turn that interest into a real market through maybe translated tutorials, video interviews, or any other ideas people had. But maybe we can leave that conversation for a future call.
Yeah, I'm trying to look around and see what I can help with, because I'm not a developer. So I've been looking around and I'm trying to see what I can help. In case of Brazil, I speak Portuguese, so maybe I can help with that to translate something.
Yeah,
I've been looking around GitHub and I'm trying to learn the stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's great.
Yeah, sorry.
No, go on.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, so if you want to help on the translation part, Aruna is kind of the admin of all our translations. So we do have a separate channel on Slack. It's called Transifex. That's the name of the tool we're using. And yeah, if you're interested to help out, probably the best way is just to say hello there in the Transifex channel, and Aruna will guide you from there. It's really easy, straightforward, and yeah. So Portuguese is one of the languages that is used most within the client. So we have outgoing link tracking. If users are clicking on a link, copying it into the browser, and then visiting our site or the doc site, then we see what the client side language. So that's one little thing that we added. So we know if there are any languages which we should focus especially, and besides English, there is, of course, Spanish, Portuguese, and Russian, where we see the most users using it within the client as well.
So,
Yeah,
Huey,
thanks.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. No, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just curious. I was curious about your background, or like your maybe strengths in terms of where you may see yourself helping out. I mean, obviously, it's great that you know Portuguese and may be interested in translating. But what's your background? And do you have a marketing background, development background, or what do you
No, I'm an illustrator, so I don't have a technical background. So I've been trading on Bisq for a month, I think, or more. So I've been looking and trying to see what else I can do. So the most I can help with is probably documentation and translation. I'm trying to learn a bit of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, but I'm really at the beginning, so.
Very cool. Yeah. Yeah, I think we can use a lot of help in documentation and, I mean, illustration too. Is that like digital illustration or?
No, it's more storyboards.
Okay. Okay, cool. All right. Anything else you guys wanna cover today?
From my side,
Yeah, I saw that
special.
you were going to talk about the huddle. I saw that on Twitter.
Oh.
Maybe you can talk about.
Yeah, I mean, it was a tweet. I wasn't planning on covering it, but I guess now that you mention it, I could just maybe really quickly cover this guy, the CTO of Hodl, Roman Snitsko is his name. He had a tweet either earlier today or yesterday, basically calling out Bisq. He was like, Bisq is people have this misconception that that Bisq is software that you download, and so that therefore it's invincible, whereas in reality there's a lot of risks. You don't know that you're downloading authentic software. You don't know that the software is he was just making some really weird points about natively running software on your machine, and his point was that when you trade on a website like Hodl, you eliminate that those attack vectors, and it's just safer. And it was just kind of a weird point. A lot of people were like confused with what he was talking about, because obviously he wasn't wrong in that, yes, there are risks with software that you using software that you download, but there are also risks with a website, and it's pros and cons of a platform. It's just how things are, and it was just a weird thing for him to say, and I think a lot of people called him out on it. And it's just like, Bitcoin Core is software that you run on your computer. Wasabi Wallet, same thing. Electrum, same thing. As long as you're aware of the risks, you're aware of how to counter those risks and how to use the software safely and responsibly, I think it's there's nothing to really say about it.
Actually, I think we have a very strong security model as long as you have installed it once, really, from the original download link, and you are updating only in the application. Then there's basically, I'm not aware of any risk, because then there is the check with the PGP key directly in the application, and even if you end up with whatever weird man-in-the-middle attack, which shouldn't be possible as well, then it would be detected. And you don't have this on a web page. You use the web page today, and the next day they had a hack on their DNS, and you're ending up at criminals. And that happened at some exchanges. They got and that's unfortunately a very common hack, that somebody getting your mobile. I think it was, I don't remember which exchange it was, but it was, I think, last year. And it, as far as I remember, it worked that way, that the hackers managed to trick the customer care agent at the mobile company. So the phone for two-factor authentication, so got hacked and got in possession of the hacker, and then they managed to change the DNS and so, and then the users ended up at a different server and the money was stolen. So of course, it can happen also when you're downloading from the wrong page. And I think with Wasabi, I've seen today that somebody deployed a malware Wasabi wallet on a different domain and so, and people who are not well informed, they could get tricked with this. With Electrum it happens and so on. With Bitcoin it happened, with Bitcoin Cash, for instance, or Bitcoin.com, very famous hack. But you have to take care. And I think it's not safer on web page, maybe even more the opposite, because like everybody's using web pages, there's more it's more intensive more incentive for hackers to go for these targets. But yeah, basically not a very meaningful criticism.
Manfred,
Yeah.
I usually prefer to download the file from the website and then verify the signature. So you were saying that it's safe to click the pop-up that shows up in Bisq?
Yeah, it's safer because when somebody would manage to hack our GitHub account and so on, they could upload different hashes and different keys and so on. And that cannot happen in the application, because in your application there is the PGP key in the code. So with that, basically, you always know what's the original PGP key is for verifying, and then you would detect any malicious upload. So it's more safe when you do it in the application, like when you do it over the web page. When you do it over the web page, do it best directly from the Bisq web page, or yeah. But
so if someone tried to do what they did with the Electrum servers, the signature wouldn't be valid.
yes, so when you download it from the Bisq application, it will be detected.
Okay.
Depends on the way how they would hack it. Could be when they're doing it well, but I mean in PGP also, when you verify the PGP key, the PGP keys from the people who are doing the releases are also on different domains and on different places. So when people are really cross-checking everything, it should be detected as well. But of course, not everybody is doing these cross-checks, and when you just it's a little bit more risk, at least.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, so that's what that was. I think a pretty baseless statement from that guy. But yeah, I think that's all I have on my end.
Goody. Maybe just a last comment regarding the markets, because we are so focused on the DAO, and that's really our highest priority at the moment. We didn't put a lot of effort on trying to increase the volume and so on. That will change, of course, after the DAO. We have quite a few improvements in work, like especially the API. They would be already probably ready for release, but yeah, because we don't have enough resources at the moment, we have to postpone it. But probably 1 month after the DAO launch, the trading APIs will be published. So for professional traders, market makers, and so will be a big benefit that they can use scripts and automated trading. There are some other ideas for improving, especially the altcoin trading, to make it more automated. That the lookup in Block Explorer, for instance, if an altcoin transfer has been confirmed, could be integrated directly. Probably we will focus on Monero because that's our main market on the altcoin side, and integrate some features for Monero traders, probably mainly the transaction proof verification. As Monero, you can prove as the sender that you have done the transaction, and that can be integrated and automated as well. And with that, we will be able to speed up the trades, that even if the other peer is not confirming, when it's basically when the software itself can verify that the transaction was done, even if you're not online. When you enable this, at least as a taker, for instance, then the software could complete the trade and it could speed up the trade duration a lot. Yeah, that's two things. A lot of improvements on the UI side. Is there anything else, Christoph, what we discussed recently? I think there was some more.
Let me say, I just want to point out, because Manuel was asking something regarding the DAO testing, or just the testing in general. So for if someone who is not a developer and able to build from master and is interested to help testing, then I'm happy to create builds for native builds for that purpose. So if you're interested, join us in the testing channel, and next week I will announce when we start with the release testing, and I can create some binaries for macOS or Windows or Linux if there's interest of people to join testing efforts. So that shouldn't be a problem. Regarding what you said, Manfred, what we discussed, yeah, I think the API
regarding improvements for the trading side.
Sorry.
Regarding improvements for volume for trading features which are planned.
Yeah,
I mean, the instant trading for altcoin that might come also soon.
Yeah, we were discussing also to create a more specific bounties, probably for integrations like Monero with the Monero wallet, so we can improve this workflows for markets where we see where there's high liquidity on Bisq, so that's easier for developers to pick up this kind of bounties.
Yeah. Yeah, and a very big thing, of course, is the new trade protocol which is planned, that also will start developing after the DAO is launched. The main improvements are that there will be a possibility for direct contact. So when you have any problem during the trade or you're delayed or whatever, you can get in touch with the peer. It's all optional. If you don't want, you don't need to do this, but many people request it as always. So you can have communication with the peer during the trade and resolve any problems. When you still have problems, there will be an additional layer of a mediator. The mediator don't have the third key, so he cannot do the payout, but he can help you and can probably resolve 95% of the normal disputes which the arbitrators are doing at the moment. And yeah, that's the main thing.
Yeah. Besides that, what's also on my to-do list for long time, but I always get distracted by more important things, of course. But yeah, I still want, after the DAO launch, I want to start tackling the first-time user experience, just to take the people, also new people who haven't traded on Bisq, by the hand how to trade right on Bisq, how the process works, and that's at least I think if you can make that right, that this also would help us a lot to increase the liquidity on Bisq. If it's easier just to try it out, because yeah, people who are only used to centralized exchanges, there are the interfaces and the paradigm is kind of different. And if you make that easier and kind of show them that it's a trustful service and they don't have to trust anything, they just because it's the trust is encoded and there's a fallback with the DAO or the arbitrator depending on the trade protocol, which is then live. And yeah, I think that could help. And also if we translate the website also in a couple of languages, we do have translated the client already in lots of languages. But yeah, you probably don't download the client if you go to the website and you have issues, you don't speak English very well, then a translated website would also help to increase the downloads. But for that, if you want to push that really hard, we have to have this the new trade protocol with mediators in place, because otherwise we can't give native speaking support if there are some issues, for example.
Actually, regarding translations, there would be also a task for the videos to get the videos translated in other languages. If you're interested in this, that would be a great help also, especially for these videos, what we have out for the DAO, what Steve has made, or Aruna. Yeah, any content what you're able to translate would be great. For the web page, we need a little bit more time to find the right infrastructure before we can start with this. Yeah, I think in the application, the Portuguese language is already not in such a bad state. So maybe that's not the highest priority, but to get some of the videos translated would be for sure very good. Or you can also create, when you design you can create your own video.
Subtitles to the DAO. And to provide subtitles to the DAO playlist. That's
yeah, also especially those introduction videos what Steve has provided, they're very short, so 4 or 5 minutes videos, which are covering the most important aspects of the DAO. So when we would get those translated into Portuguese or Spanish, that I think would be a great benefit. And another thing is, yeah, just to create new videos, which topic you think is missing also. And even if we only have the video then in Portuguese, later we can try to translate it to English. It's also okay to have some videos only in another language when the contributor is in this native language.
Yeah, especially if it's a video on how to trade Brazilian, is it real with Bitcoin? Just the local language, the local payment method, just to show people how the settings are and how they can do it. I think that helps a lot.
And especially with the local payment method, every country has a little bit different systems and so on. And for us, it's difficult we don't know this. When you're local from there, you know it exactly, and you can give all the required background information what users might need to know. We have a few of such videos where people do some dollar trades with seller or whatever and explain just the trading experience and so. And yeah, I think that can be quite a simple video. It can be more sophisticated with nicer design and nicer produced, so whatever you're up for. But anything is helpful in that area.
Okay.
Yeah, just 2 things to add. I mean, you mentioned captions or translations for the existing videos. That's probably the easiest way to start. The videos are already up there. So if you could do captions for those videos, I think they'd be quickest and easiest to do to get started. And then, of course, if you want to make your own videos, you're more than welcome. So that would be great. Gonna say something I forgot. Yeah, so I guess we'll maybe wait a couple seconds for if anyone else has anything to add. And looks like not. All right, well, thanks everybody for joining. and we'll see you again here next week.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.